What's good, guys? Your boy, Mr. Old School Ryder, come back at you one more again on the Writers Book Club edition of Hey Use Your Inside Voice from downtown Atlanta. I have two lovely ladies with natural hair, which I like so much. One from the East Coast and the other from the West Coast. Ladies, tell us who you are and what you do.
I am Michelee Bechthold. I'm a voiceover artist, vocalist, voice entrepreneur, connoisseur.
I am Chiara Santos. I am also a voiceover artist, editor, producer, author, teacher. That's pretty much it.
All right. So how long you guys been voiceover actors or actresses? What do you want to call yourself for tonight on this?
Voiceover actress, talent. There's many terms for it, but I've been doing it for about 2 years now. Strictly as voiceover. Again, like I said, I'm a vocalist. I'm a singer, but I've always loved telling stories and painting pictures with my voice and color and splash and all of that for folks. So it's been 2 years for me for voiceover, though.
Well, y'all heard some of you guys work. I'm like, man, y'all sound real nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What about you?
So I've been doing this for about a year professionally. But my students, when I read stories, I read stories to middle schoolers, to start a unit, and they're like, "You should do this as your job," and I'm like, "Should I quit teaching?" They're, no, don't leave us. But you should just find a job where you can do this part time. So I always do I've always done the voices when I read stories or whatever, and so this was pretty natural for me to step into.
So do you do any type of impersonations on your end since you're in school?
I wouldn't say impersonations, impressions or anything like that, but I do sometimes mock people.
Oh boy.
There's that.
There's that.
Oh, it sounds
It's middle school, I have to do it.
Oh, sound like you petty a little bit, bro.
Maybe a little bit.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little petty every now and then.
Whatever.
Petty Murphy, it's all
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
But hey.
Absolutely.
Wow. So how long you been teaching?
Middle school, I've been teaching 11 years. Before I had kids, I taught toddlers for 9, and then I stayed home with them for a while. So that was my break.
Oh, wow. What about you?
So I did corporate America for several years until I started having the kids. I want to stay home and raise my children, so I quit all of that, stayed home till the last one was ready to go to school, and then I was like, what do I do now? I'm a jack of many trades, but I want to be a master of all of them.
Right.
So then I went into personal training, wanted to do something I could do for myself, very flexible, and then music and voiceover and all that was always kind of in the back of my head. So when I had some more time to pursue that, and pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, I was like, what am I doing with my life? It's time to dig into the things that I'm really passionate about.
Right.
So.
You guys got some great talent. I have to give it to you on that. Oh yeah, also shout out to Chris, even though he's not here right now, shout out to Chris Jordan.
Yes.
Also Dean as well, they put all this together.
Absolutely.
From Hear That Inc. Productions.
Yes.
Hopefully next time, Dean, I'll have you on the show, but I know you have stuff to do. I understand that. Mm-hmm. So how did you guys get hooked up with the Hear That Inc. Productions?
Well, Chris is my voiceover mentor. So I met him a little over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and he was telling me about it. And I was like, oh wow, that's really cool. I think that's something that I could get into. And I told him, how my students were like, you should do this as your job. And so he kind of pulled me in, and we did a few different things together. And when they started Hear That Inc., he was like, so before they even started, they had a name. He was like, what do you think about a name for this? We're trying to find a name. So they just he was just like, hey, can you help us out? I was like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's very catchy. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't come up with it, though. I'm not going to take credit for that.
I mean, I think I know he did, of course. But you got how many of you guys in the group?
Sheesh.
growing. I'm not
Yeah.
sure
Really?
now. Yeah, we're
So
growing.
we're like 10 or 12 now? Yeah.
Authors and narrators, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all understand y'all like the first black narration company, if I'm not mistaken?
All black.
All black.
All
and
black.
Doing multi-narration, which means that, a lot of times when you do an audiobook, it's just one person, and they may do the voices or they may just read it, and narrate it straight. It just depends. But in ours, we have someone who narrates, and then we have different people doing the voices. And so, for Chris, you've heard Chris's voice. He historically
he got a golden voice.
had to do a woman's voice sometimes when he was narrating. Can you imagine him trying to do a woman's voice?
No.
Or me trying to do a man's voice? Like I'm doing, and I'm like, yeah. So it doesn't even sound right. It doesn't sound authentic. And having people, and even trying to do, like I did one story, and there were like 12 different women. I can't do 12 different voices in one story. Like it doesn't. It becomes overwhelming and not really natural.
So this is nice. I would say like it's really nice when you hear the finished product because we're all kind of dropping our little parts in to just hear there's color and texture and variety and that you don't get from a typical audiobook.
Right.
You can hear some authors or narrators are very good at changing their voice, but this is truly somebody else, bringing what they have to the character. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so very true. I like audiobooks myself. There's a lot of times, it'd be like one person doing like a million voices. I'm like, sometimes it works out, but most of the time I'm like, if there was like a different tone over here, this might have make this particular story pop a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, everybody can't do it.
Right.
It's very hard to do it. It's very hard.
Yeah. And that can really make or break. Like if you want to listen to the book, I'm an audiobook fanatic too, but I always listen to the sample because if I can't listen to you on the sample, I can't use your book.
Yeah.
I just can't, So.
Even with audiobooks, if I'm not mistaken, some of the authors was telling me I think your tone got to be pretty much the same to a certain extent.
You
The
just
volume.
The volume?
Yeah.
Of course, my volume is going up and down right now. But
Right.
Of course, they'll fix that, but
Yeah,
It just has to be within a certain
fixed.
range.
Right.
Like when you watch when you're recording and you see the up and down, like
Yeah,
little-
your dBs
it has
have
to
to
be
be-
within
Yeah.
here.
if it's hitting red, you got to tone it down
Yeah,
a little
you're
bit.
right. Peaking.
And you
that's
just
okay.
you normalize it
Yeah.
and it
There's
works.
tools of the trade that can
Yeah.
get it to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like audiobooks as well. So how many audiobooks you guys done so far?
So we as a group, the one that's coming out right now is an anthology. There are 5 stories, all about, each one is about a different borough or set in a different borough in New York. It's the 5 Tales of Gotham, and that's the very first one of its kind with the multi-narration, and I think, and all of us are on that.
Everyone's on that.
Everyone is on that in the different stories. We have my children's book is out as an audiobook. And then we are working on a West Coast version of the anthology, where it's Bay Area business.
Yeah.
I'm
This
editing
is
the first story one. I'm editing the first one, or I just finished editing the first one, and there'll be 4 or 5 stories in that. And then we have several of the. They're not books. They're pieces that we put together for Black History Month.
Short
and other
stories,
things.
just short biographical stories.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, we're rocking and rolling.
So, were you guys authors before in the past? I know you had a children's book, but
Yeah.
did you guys write in the books before you started doing the narration?
I haven't published anything else,
I have not. I am strictly a voiceover
but
artist. Yeah.
other authors have. Like Dean has lots of things out there.
Yeah.
So there are some authors that had books published with Dean doesn't narrate. He just writes. Not just writes. He writes. I don't want to be like, he just writes. Like, that's nothing. No, he writes, and that's the talent that not a lot of people can do. So.
Oh, you just changed your voice for a second. That was one of them stuffy old rich man voices.
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
a thing, it's a thing. Everyone can't do it.
So we're going to get into a little background, just a little bit. So you was a teacher, of course, but your story is also interesting as well over here in his yellow shirt.
Yes. Gold.
So gold.
Scouts.
Go.
Yes,
So
yes.
tell us a little bit more about your background, just a little bit. What's a fun fact that we know about you?
Well, I am a former NPC competitor. I did place in top 5. I came in second. I love to lift heavy metal, go hard and heavy or go home, sweat like a pig so you can look like a fox. But I love to work out. That's a fun fact. I have 3 beautiful daughters. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
NPC, huh?
Yes, sir.
That's big time.
That's big time.
Woo.
Right before the pros, actually, before nationals and all that. Yeah.
So
Loved it.
So how long ago has it been since you stopped?
Competing?
Yeah.
2017 was the last time.
It wasn't that long ago.
No, not too long ago. That was my last show. Yeah.
So what's a fun fact about you? I know you got an interest in life over here.
Just one, though. She's probably
Just one. You can't give
many fun facts.
You was telling some stuff in the
I
front,
wasn't ready for a fun fact now.
I mean, just
I wasn't ready. In addition to all of this other stuff that I do, I also, no, I'm not do that. I was born in Italy. That's kind of cool. I think that was cool.
oh
I was
wow,
born in
That's
Italy.
super cool.
Yeah.
Italian.
Yeah, my mom's Italian, my dad's Cape Verdean, which also I guess is cool because people don't know what that is. This island's off the coast of Senegal.
Yeah. Unless
Okay.
you're from New England.
Unless you're from New England, then you know, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, don't,
Wait.
come on, man.
I am a Patriots fan.
Yes, indeed. I have to second.
I was gonna, you know what? I was gonna go bring that up.
I
but
can't help it.
I gotta
yeah, you got an
You
interest in
are a
following.
Cowboys fan though, so let's not.
I mean, I'm claiming them while I'm in Georgia, of course, but
I
you know,
am
of course, I'm
claiming
home.
the Patriots always.
I mean, of course, one of my old cars, I have cowboy plates on it, of course. But
Oh, you can see my
I mean, that car.
Patriots stickers all
Oh yeah, I saw your stuff online. I'm like, oh wow,
She's a real
a
fan.
Patriots fan in Atlanta. Okay.
Yes. And my students come for me all the time.
When that season comes around,
All the
especially.
time.
We coming
Students,
for you,
my
right?
coworkers, my principal, all the time.
My goodness, that's
They
it.
stay on my neck
That was all your life a Patriots fan?
all my life. I'm from New England.
Oh, you was with them when they had the red uniform.
Steve Grogan was the quarterback.
Woo. Oh, they mean they had the Patriot. What do you call it? The logo? What's his name?
Pat Patriot.
Oh, you go way back
That's my favorite. I like that logo.
with the red uniform
yes,
with Pat on the helmet.
Point stance. Yes.
Man, I always love that logo for some
That's a
reason.
dope logo. Yes.
Man, I'm glad it kind of turned around for you guys in recent times.
Yeah.
But you know, not the last few years, but you know,
okay.
like historically,
Yeah.
last 20 years, y'all did
Yes.
y'all thing.
I think football, just like life, is cyclical. Like we were bad, and then we were good, and now we're not so great. We did a lot better this year than I thought we would. Actually, I didn't even think we'd get near the playoffs. So
I mean, Belichick, he'll figure something out, you
he
know.
will. He will. And Mac Jones did a lot better than I thought for a rookie. He did a great job.
Like, if you stay consistent, you're gonna be just fine.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we're just gonna ask some other question about the narration. Are you gonna come out? Are you guys gonna come out with your own books one of these days? Or are you gonna stick to the voiceover?
We personally?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
Y'all have interesting lives. I know you got a story to tell somewhere.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I think I will eventually, but my writing I think is more. I'm geared to inspirational and self-help and health and fitness oriented stuff. So I see that for sure.
Yeah, I have another children's book. I'm gonna get this one out, and then the other one that I wrote, one for my daughter, one for my son. So his will be out next. I have to get it illustrated.
That's awesome.
And then, I might. I don't know.
You're gonna figure it out.
I mean, if you say so.
You guys are professionals over here. I'm just.
Yeah. I really do like editing. So
And that is incredible because
That
you'll
is
find
hard
a
work.
lot of people who just are like, I love to
I
edit.
edited in college. Like I really do like it.
And that's actually a thing in voiceover that people don't actually realize. You have to do a lot of cleaning up the copy of other
Right,
people's scripts.
right.
I mean, like you can charge for that alone separately, and I do.
Right.
Yeah.
And it is like trying to read something when it's not well written.
You stumble over it.
Yeah.
That's just one little thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So if you're a writer, check
I mean,
your
that's
stuff.
understandable, you
And
know.
also pay an editor. Like if you're not sure, seriously pay an editor. It's so worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, that is very true. Like some of the authors I have on the show, you know, your editor's gonna make or break your book.
I mean, literally. Sometimes I'm like, what even does that mean? Like, what are you trying to say? Like, I'll edit in Google Docs, right? So I can share it. And sometimes they're like, just make the changes. If it's grammatical, just make the changes. If it's a word choice here or there, make the changes. Sometimes I literally have written the comment, because you know you can leave a comment. I don't know what you're trying to say, so I cannot even give you a suggestion. I don't know what's happening. You know?
I wonder how well received that is.
I mean, because everything else has been like, you know, make this change here or try this or, you know, I'm like, I don't know. I can't help you in this one. You know, and sometimes it's you know, one of them, they were like, this is you know, they were shooting AK-47s for 10 minutes. And I was like, that seems like a really long time. And it just takes a second. I was like, how many bullets? They were like, empty a clip in 15 seconds. I was like, that's too long. How long do you want them to be shooting? But 10 minutes is just too long.
Wow, 10 minutes, huh?
Like, that's a long time to be shooting an AK-47,
That's
right?
a lot of ammo.
Right. But if people don't think about it that way, or, you know, another one I was writing, at one point they were drinking bourbon, and the next sentence it was cognac, and I was like, what are they drinking? Because you need consistency. Those are things that you don't think about when you're writing. So.
Man, that person might have been drinking cognac and bourbon. Hey,
and that's okay.
You don't know.
But he went and got a bottle
But I heard
of
what you're saying, dog.
So he said, go get that bottle of bourbon.
Yo.
And then he poured the cognac, and I was like, well,
I guess he didn't want it.
I don't think that's correct. And if that were correct, then that's fine, and you just need to then add a little bit more detail.
Yeah, that is so true about that. Your editor
Will save your life.
will save your life. Yeah, some people say the editors make their mad sometimes. I'm like, they looking out for you.
Right, and vice versa. Like, how is your editor? We're editing your anyways.
Right, no, but that's what it is. It's
your
like,
work.
This is your work. We're trying to make it be its best.
Yeah.
No, it's all right. So we're just going to talk about a little bit more about
Hear that ink.
man, hear that ink. Wow. So what's some of the? I know y'all work with like other people. And what about some of the other people that you like working with, like that particular style of voiceover?
So outside of doing, so I'm the new kid on the block with Hear That Ink, but outside of that, I do my voiceover is e-learning, corporate narration, and I actually enjoy it very much. You know, educational material for kids even. So that's kind of what I do mostly, but I'm loving the audiobook side too. Yeah,
that's a hot thing right now. I mean, especially, I guess, I say it's over almost, you know, the stuff we went through the last couple of years. I mean, some people don't want to read a book. They might want to listen to it, working out, walking, or even driving in the car. That's pretty much a hot sector right now.
yeah.
You guys pretty much fell into it right on time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I liked, we actually have, there's one of the other narrators, Sean Shiz, is actually from Brooklyn, and he lives not too far from me, so we can actually be in the same space, which is really, I enjoy that a lot, because it's like this, like we're reading, and sometimes, you know, you make a mistake, and I'm pretty sure Chris has done like a whole reel of bloopers, but it's like you can feed off that energy as opposed to recording by yourself and kind of dropping it. So I really do, and he's really like he's from Brooklyn, and he's like his voice is definitely like he's from Brooklyn, you know, and so he brings that all the way. You know, he brings that all the way through. Now he can do other things, but with his just natural voice is Brooklyn, and it was just great working with him, because I have to do a Brooklyn accent. You know, I have to do a New York accent. That's just how he talks, you know, and it was really great working, you know, being in the same space with him, you know, doing that. So that was probably my favorite part.
And I will say too, as far as working on 5 boroughs, because I know that things were changed. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Yes, but just the different characters, like you voiced for different stories, and their background was different. So I was a supernatural teen mom, and then I was a flirty prison guard, and so it's
Right.
just interesting. It makes it a lot of fun. Seriously,
Right. I was
You're
in
like,
front
okay.
board, like
Yeah.
I like beat the brakes off of this man.
Sounds good. And
And
then I was a
one-
snitch.
Yes.
Oh,
And I
no.
was hesitant. Right.
Oh.
I beat
Yeah.
the brakes off this man, like boom, and then like man, like it was really dope. And then I'm like, hey baby, you know, it's like you're
Right.
switching from one thing to the next. It's really cool.
Oh my goodness. I mean, so it don't kind of drive you crazy every now and then. You gotta do like different voices. You just leave it out there.
I mean, I don't. It's
I mean,
not the
I just
same.
leave it behind. That's what I mean to say.
It's crazy doing different voices when you're doing all the voices.
Yeah.
But
I think it's not. No, not really. If you just get in your zone and you picture the scene and your character, you just roll with it. You know.
when you're just doing the one
Just roll.
voice,
Exactly.
it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
And you don't have to remember, how did I make this person sound 2 chapters ago? When you're doing, 12 voices.
Right.
Oh wow.
So 1 voice or 2 is easy peasy.
If you're doing like 5, 6, or 7, I'm like,
Right,
oh,
in
like,
one story.
And big props to their many narrators that
They
do
did
that
that.
thing.
Right.
That's for sure. Yeah.
It's hard. I did one book and there were literally 12 women. I was like, okay.
Man, I know sometimes I had to take phone calls for like other people. I had to be a different person. It's hilarious. I mean, I can pull it off. I'm like, oh my goodness. I mean, I can just imagine what you guys go through.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work, but you guys make it so easy.
We hope so. We hope that
it should sound that
listeners
way.
enjoy. Exactly.
It should sound effortless, even if it isn't.
Yes.
That's all good. So we're just going to transition here just for a little bit. We are a car platform.
Okay.
We got to talk about some crazy stories to a little bit. So I'm going to ask you, what was your first car, Michelee?
All right. So my first car was a beautiful Isuzu Rodeo. A red Isuzu Rodeo.
Ooh, I got a rodeo story.
Yes, you have a rodeo story? Let me finish telling
I'm gonna
the
tell you in a
story.
second.
Okay. Her name was Scarlett. I got her my senior year of high school. We enjoyed about 2 months of time together before I flipped her over on 285.
Oh no.
Oh,
Right at Roswell Road. Fell asleep driving home. Just almost home. I lived right off of Roswell Road, shy of the exit. Late, just tired, and flipped that bad boy. But she protected me, but she was no more. So.
Oh no.
So that meant you had the top on her, right?
I mean, oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, thank God. That top was all real,
I
man.
wouldn't be sitting here telling you this story.
I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
I had the sunroof, but the top was definitely on.
Okay.
Yeah, she was
Wow.
fully loaded. Just a beautiful Susie Rodeo.
So that was your first car. What about your
Yes.
favorite car?
I like the Jag, but a classic Jag. I don't love the new Jaguars, but I do love a Jag.
So are we talking about like 90s and 80s, or are we going like all the way back?
Maybe not all the way back, from like late 70s up to mid 90s.
The XJ6 there, I know what you're talking about. That,
Yes.
and black, right?
Something about it, right?
Man, those lines are so sexy.
Yes.
My goodness.
That's
So what about you? I know you got an interesting story.
Okay, so my very first car was in 1986 Renault Alliance, black, 4 doors. I did not.
You didn't wreck her.
I did not wreck.
That's good.
I didn't name her.
Okay.
But we were driving home. Well, I was driving home to Providence from Hampton. I went to Hampton University, and there were 4 people with me, so we were 5 deep in this car, and we are driving up the Jersey Turnpike, and all of a sudden, it was like, I'm not driving anymore. So we get off the side of the road, and we get out, and there's 5 college students looking in the engine. We don't know what we're looking at or for, right? And a truck driver pulled over, like an 18-wheeler driver pulled over. They took pity on us, and he looked inside, and he was like, "Oh yeah, your alternator. It was like supposed to be like this, but it was like this. Like the screw that was holding these 2 pieces together had snapped." And so he went and looked at his truck to see if he had something. He did not. So I was like, "All right, everybody, give me your shoelaces." So we tied it up, brought it together, tied it up, and we got to Providence from the Jersey Turnpike.
That's impressive.
With shoelaces holding this thing together.
My goodness.
That's impressive.
But we made it alive.
Wow, thank God. I actually have a rodeo story myself.
Okay,
I never
let's have it.
owned a rodeo myself, but my friend, I'm a Caucasian guy. I was selling cars back in the day, real early. Started at 19. It was a guy. I'm gonna call him Chad, pretty much.
Chad.
Yeah, he on a dealership now. I don't want to put him out there.
Oh,
but
okay, that's good. That's good.
yeah, while he was working at the Toyota dealership I was working at, his credit was jacked. So he got end up getting a rodeo. I remember it was white, had the graphics on the side, had the top, 5-speed.
Yes.
Where we stayed at in Texas, it was like, how can I say this? I don't want to give up the name of the place. We pretty much was in the hood setting, so I'm gonna say it that way. The people in the know, they know where it's at. I stayed like in the country.
Okay.
It was like 50 miles away one way.
Oh, Jesus.
He used to love to go to the club all the time, spend money and stuff like that. He had it. Go to the strip club. I was just his designated driver.
Okay.
We get paid once a week. He blow the whole check
Oh, no.
that night. Like he'll give me some money. Like, hey, here goes something for some gas. I got some money stashed on the side in case something happened. But he would be drunk out of his mind. I swear, whenever we leave the club, I think it was they call it. God, I ain't gonna talk like this on this podcast. They call it DG's Dallas Gentleman in Dallas or whatever. It's legendary or whatever. Yeah, I used to take him there. He'll get drunk out of his mind, spend all his money, yo. I had to take him home. It was like almost 50 miles away. Cause that's how I learned how to drive a 5-speed. I swear I burned like a couple clutches.
Oh, on that very night you had to learn that?
Yeah.
The 5-speed, yeah.
Oh, my
my
goodness.
second car was a 5-speed, and I had to learn to drive it off the lot after Scarlett took her,
Demise.
to her demise.
Oh.
Then it was a
RIP.
5-speed. Yep.
Man, we burned a couple clutches, but I got it got real easy. It was at times he'd be so drunk that we left the top back too. We take the top off. By the time our job was 50-something miles to get home, he'll be sober up already.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, with the top off especially, yeah.
Man, he be in the car, he be in the truck like this. Had the top on, had his window cracked, he just be out of there like, hey, oh man, we good?
Oh, wow.
Oh, we made it. Like, you good? Like, I'm sober now.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, to this day, he don't have a rodeo no more. He flipped it, of course.
Of course.
Thank God he made
Must
it.
roll easy. I don't know.
Yeah.
He flipped his too?
Man, he with the top on.
Oh,
Wow.
my God.
Well, that's good.
I mean, he got messed up for a while, but he's good now. I see him every now and then. Man, he own like a Japanese brand dealership pretty much.
Okay.
He had money anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I should have got in on that, but hey,
It's all right.
my money wasn't right back then. But he doing his thing now.
But now you're here with us.
Nice.
Every now and then when I run into him, like, man, you remember that rodeo, man? I'm like, man, you was wild, boy. Boy, I used to drink everything up in there.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm surprised you alive. I be telling him, I'm surprised you alive, man.
Wow. Well, that's what he had you for.
I'm telling you, I was like his guardian angel pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, he was trying to buy. I talked to him maybe like a few months ago when I went home in Texas. He said, man, I might get another rodeo. I saw one was a good mile. I'm like, no, don't do it,
Stay
man.
away from it.
I'm like, Chad, don't do it, bro.
Let that part of your life
Let
stay
it
in the past.
Yes.
You rich, man. Leave it alone. Yeah, he didn't do it.
Good.
We saw a rodeo with like 15,000 miles on it. I'm like, I wouldn't do it, fam.
Yeah.
Let it go. Move on.
It's enjoyable for the
Yeah.
time.
It's enjoyable. That's my rodeo story. I wouldn't buy one myself,
Yes, no.
but
This
that
is
was
back,
my
this is
memory.
time. Yeah, exactly.
Well, rodeos was the lick back in the day.
Yes, Sure was.
So we can pretty much close to the end at this time. So what do you suggest for anybody that want to do voiceover acting?
Oh, well, make sure that you know how to breathe. And not like normal breathing, like breathing so that, just like with singing, I can't sing. That's hard. But you don't want to get to the end of the sentence and you end up running out of breath and you have to go, like you have to just, pay attention, pace yourself when you're breathing.
I would say coaching. Definitely get coaching. Don't just say, my mom and them said I have a nice voice. I should do voiceover. Get some
Right.
coaching. Talk to
Get a
people.
mentor. Get a
exactly,
mentor.
who are in the biz that have some expertise that can really tell you, and not someone who's just gonna stroke you, but someone who's gonna really help you grow in it.
Right.
Get a coach for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I hear the saying sometimes some people got a voice for radio, a face for radio.
Face for radio.
That be cracking me up sometimes too. I'm like, wow, that's trying to be funny.
Right.
No,
yeah.
not me, but
Is
other
that
people.
complimentary?
We have a face. No, it's not.
No,
We
of
have a
course
face for voiceover.
Yes.
I mean, y'all can do whatever y'all want. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can be the face or behind the camera. It don't even matter. But some people, they got to be behind behind the screen.
Yeah, for
No
sure.
camera, nothing, just talk.
And I'll tell you, I do love that. I love being in my booth and voicing now. I feel like on screen it would be different. That's
You
not
feel
for
more
everybody.
you feel more
I love
comfortable
it.
behind the booth then, right?
I do. I love it. I love it.
Oh wow! So this is the part of the show that you're gonna shout out your social medias and tell us where we can find you at.
Oh, I don't even know what my social media. Michelee BVO. Insta at. That's my Insta. MICHELEEBVO. Check me out.
Okay.
And website, micheleebvo.com for all your voiceover needs.
Yay. My Instagram is, I'm supposed Chiara S922. CHIARAS 922 is my Instagram. Facebook is personal. TikTok is PatsFan in Atlanta _ between each word. And you're welcome to follow me there as well.
TikTok is lit too, y'all. Y'all need to go check that
I know.
TikTok is so much fun.
out. Y'all can go in there and troll if you want to. It don't matter.
You can.
No,
That
don't
is
troll,
true.
y'all. I'm
You
trolling.
can. It's fine.
She got some bloopers on there too.
I do.
Mm.
I let my students follow me on TikTok, so there's nothing.
I'm surprised.
Right.
There's nothing appropriate on TikTok. They can't follow me anyplace else. Only on TikTok.
Yeah.
All right, but other than that, we're of course I'm Mr. Old School Ryder at Hey You Should Inside Voice. It's the podcast. Right now you listen to the audio version of it, but we're gonna be in 6K according to my cameraman.
All right.
That'll be uploaded sometime next week once we get all the editing out the way, of course. But I couldn't record on a toaster today; it was a distraction. So that's why we're behind the screen today.
Okay.
Well, find me on Instagram at Mr. Old School Ryder and YouTube. And don't forget, on June the 18th, 2022, we are having the Riders Art, Book, and Fashion Show at Pittsburgh Yards. We'll give you the details here in a little bit later. But other than that, the ticket's going to be in the Eventbrite next week. If you guys want to be a vendor, whatever you want to do, just hit me up or DM me. We'll go from there.
Okay, and definitely go to the website. You can check us out. Check out all the narrators.
Check out the books. There are some offerings there that are complimentary. Others you can purchase. Join the mailing list. HearThatInc.com.
Yeah.
Check us out. Good stuff there.
HearThatInc.com. It looks like Hard Hat Ink.
It does look like that.
Right, it's
Yeah.
HearThatInc.com.
Check it out.
Oh yeah, shout out to Chris Jordan. I know he's doing his thing right now overseas, and also Dean. We're gonna get you on here next time. Hopefully you'll come to the show in the A on June the 18th. But other than that, your boy Mr. Old School Ryder, we're over and we out with the lovely young ladies here.